All right, man. I'm excited for this one. All right, joining me today, we got Victor Martinez, a.k.a. Vic the Brick.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Professional mixed martial artist with a 13-5 record.
Yes.
Just made your UFC debut.
February 25th.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome, man. So, Vic the Brick, you like that nickname?
Yeah, I mean, when they first were, like a friend of mine first gave it to me, he told me, oh, Vic the Brick, you know, but I felt like there was a lot that I have to
live up to with the name.
To live up to the name. I was like, fuck, well, I've never knocked nobody out. Like, he gave it to me in my first fight, and I lost that fight too. Yeah. So I was kind of like, I was like shy about it. Like, I don't want to be called Vic the Brick, whatever. Yeah. And then I got my first win, and it was a knockout. And then everybody started calling me Vic the Brick, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna ride with it
because
too.
you started off with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, right?
Correct.
And then that's more ground game and grappling. Mm-hmm. And then you get a name like Vic the Brick, which means you got hands.
Yeah.
So do you prefer to stand up, or you want to take it to the ground?
Me personally, I prefer to stand up. I like to use my hands. But I am a black belt under Carlos Diego.
Okay, so you're comfortable with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu?
Yes, and wrestling. Yeah.
So you started off. Your first two fights, you went 0-2, but then your third fight against, was it Juan Peña? That's when you got the knockout, right?
Yeah, I got my first knockout against him.
Is there a better feeling than, because you hit him square in the face, right? Yeah. Like, as a fighter, is that what you're looking for? Like, is there a better feeling than that? Hitting someone in the face and knocking him out?
Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting to knock him out. So that's why when I hit him, I don't know if you saw
he leaned into it and you caught him really good.
I remember he was trying to run away. Not like run away, but he was trying to like circle out, and then he just left open, so I just threw it, but I wasn't expecting him to fall and be knocked out, you know. So I just hit him, and then I kind of like, and when he fell, it kind of clicked, like oh shit, he knocked out. Mm-hmm. So then I just ran at him, and then the ref was already stopping it.
That was a good stoppage. Yeah. But
it felt good, you know.
That's when you felt like Vic the Brick.
Yeah, that's when I felt like Vic the Brick, and that's when it motivated me to continue doing this, you know, because I was coming off 2 losses. My first loss against Agapito, I lost to him by TKO, and then I lost to Sonny Luque in Laredo by submission. He got me in a guillotine.
Really?
Yeah. It was like 3rd round already, or 2nd round. I'm not sure what round.
I thought Luke Flores was the first one that submitted you.
No. It was Sonny Luque from Laredo. Yeah, he got me in and I was doing really good in that fight. I feel like I was winning that fight, and my coach at the time, it wasn't Diego. I had another coach, and I remember hearing him. He was like, "Shoot!" And I went for the takedown. And as soon as I went for the takedown, I left my neck out. Damn. And he took advantage of it, you know, as he should, you know. And he jumped and he pulled guard and he got me. And I was like, damn. And then the sucky part was that when I tapped, I heard the 10-second mark, and I was just like, damn, if I would have just sucked it up for 10 seconds longer, I could have gone to the 3rd round, you know. And but I mean, it's all experience, you know. I feel like I grew a lot with those 2 losses.
Did you wrestle in high school?
No. I wish I that's one thing that I regret, being like there at Raiders. Everybody would like, I had some friends that wrestle. And they would tell me, "Oh, jump in, do it." And I was like, I never did sports in high school, so I was like, nah, I don't want to wrestle and this and that. Yeah. And then when I started training jiu-jitsu, I was like, damn, I should have done it earlier. Yeah. But I mean, it's I feel like I've learned a lot of wrestling now through the years of training in MMA and stuff like that.
Are you naturally an aggressive person? Like when you got into wrestling, was it instinct for you to just want to grapple and be physical and aggressive?
I wouldn't say it was instinct for me, but I felt like that with boxing. When I started training boxing, I was like, man, like I like this. I was picking it up faster than all the other arts. But yeah, boxing was like, that's the art out of all the mixed martial arts. That's the art that I like the most.
Really? But you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
In jiu-jitsu, yes. I mean,
it's dangerous from everywhere, dude.
No, well, if it's one thing that Diego has taught me is like, man, you even if you don't like to be on the ground, you got to know how to defend yourself and to get up.
Because the other guy might be a jiu-jitsu guy only or predominantly, and you got to be able to defend that.
Yeah. And well, I mean, having him on my back on grappling all the time, it gets me ready for when I grapple with other people.
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah, fighting with Diego.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people don't know, but when Diego, before he made it to the UFC, he was like one of the top jiu-jitsu guys here in Texas and like everywhere. He would compete with the best in jiu-jitsu and stuff. So just to have him here, it was like a big blessing for me. You know what I mean? I was like, damn. So I started training with him, picking his brain, learning things off of him, grappling with him, getting that feel of like what positions and knowing what's coming after certain things, you know. So it got me ready for certain fights and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. When you started training back in high school, right? Like was it junior year, senior year?
My
started
junior
training
year,
with jiu-jitsu. Did you think you would ever go down a path of professional fighting?
No. I never even thought I would train jiu-jitsu before, you know. But the movie Never Back Down came out, and everybody was all about like street fighting, and backyard fights and all that, right?
Yeah, that's a good movie, dude. It's pretty motivating.
It was a good movie, yeah. Out of all the MMA movies, I think that one and Warrior were my favorite ones, yeah. And
Never Back Down, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I kind of went off with that, and then a friend of mine from high school, he introduced me to UFC and stuff like that. And I had never even heard of it, and I had gone over to his house one time, and he showed me a fight, and I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I would like to learn this. Mm-hmm. So I started Googling like jiu-jitsu schools. At that time, there was no MMA schools, or maybe there was, but it was there wasn't that many.
This was in high school?
Yeah, I was a junior, and then I found jiu-jitsu school here in Pharr actually, and it's not that far away from here. It's probably down the street, and I started training there. Okay. Yeah. According to me, I had told my parents like I just told them, I was like, I'm just gonna do it just to train, like, and they were like, all right, you better go to school and this and that, right? And I told them, yeah, like that's the plan. I just want to do this just for fun. And then I did a couple of tournaments of jiu-jitsu, and then I started training MMA, and I was like, man, I'm always training. I might as well just give it a shot. So and then I just tried it, you know. Yeah. The first fight, I remember, man, I was so scared. I had never even been in a street fight or nothing. That was my first fight ever.
A professional fight was your first fight.
Yeah.
Had you been hit like in the face or during like sparring?
Just during
stuff?
Training.
But you've been hit before that actual fight. Because most people don't like getting hit, bro. I mean, not that anybody likes it, but getting hit just when you never intended to be a professional fighter. Yeah. Now you're actually training for it and getting hit in the face and getting submitted. Like, dude, I can't imagine.
Well, I mean, it took me a while to like not be afraid to get hit, I guess. But I mean, I don't like it. But getting in there and then with those little gloves and stuff. Yeah. And then I heard the cage close and they locked it and stuff. I was just like, man, what the hell am I doing in here? Real. Yeah, I was like, I shouldn't even be in here. Like, what the fuck? But I was like, well, fuck, what am I gonna do now? They already closed the gate.
I'm already here. Might as well fight.
Yeah. So, and it was going good for me too. That my first fight, and I feel like I've learned a lot of those losses. Experience and stuff. Yeah. But he ended up beating me second round TKO. Yeah. The ref stopped it. Yeah.
And did you want to quit after that fight?
I didn't want to quit. My plan was to win and then be like, okay, I already did it. I'm done.
1-0, retire.
Yeah, 1-0, and just say just so I can say that I tried it, you know. And then when I lost, I was like, man, I'm gonna do it again. And then if I win this one, that's it, you know. And then I did my second fight in Laredo against Sonny Luque, and I lost that to the guillotine. And I was like, nah, let me go one more time.
Go 0-2. Yeah.
Oh, and that's when I got closer with Diego, and I started training with him more, and Coach Rick, and they didn't convince me, but they were kind of motivating me to do it again, you know, and to do my full camp with them, and then my third fight, I fought Juan Pina here in McAllen.
I'm gonna tell you something about normal people like me who don't fight. We get delusional about our ability to fight. Like when I see people sparring, or I watch UFC on TV, or like that movie, Never Back Down. My mind tells me that I can go in there and do it, right? Like I'm like, oh, I can go in there and fight him, or I'm watching this guy and I'm coaching him through the TV, like, oh, get him in a headlock, or get him in the Kimura, like you had it there, you know, pass guard, and I'm watching this thinking I could actually do it. And somebody like you who's an actual trained fighter, and you're in the ring or you're cornering somebody and you're trying to tell them to do it and they can't do it because there's the other guys fighting it also. Yeah. Like I would say the majority of average guys like me are delusional about our ability to fight. And then is that when you first started fighting, did you think, oh, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna be good, and then you realized, holy cow, like wrestling is hard, or mixed martial arts is hard?
Yeah,
or did you have the confidence that you're going to go in there and just tear it up?
No. No, I didn't. I went in there like scared, you know, especially after we hit each other with those little gloves. And he's trying to like rip your head off. Yeah. It's like when you're sparring, I mean, we kind of take care of each other. Yeah, we hit each other hard, but we know like how much
don't end the fight, right?
Yeah, like we know how much to put in there behind the punch and stuff. Yeah. And now when you're fighting somebody like who you're supposed to, who you're fighting, I mean, he doesn't care. He wants to hit you as hard as he can. So I was never used to that, like tension and and
that guy's not trying to spar with you for 10 minutes. He wants to end the fight.
Yeah,
right? So that's different.
Yeah, even us that as we're coaching, we can be yelling, get up and do this and do that. But I mean, it's hard because the guy's not letting you get up, and he's not gonna let you just
pass guard,
or do whatever that your coach is yelling at you to do. You know, so I mean, you kind of have to like figure it out as you're in there in the fight and just make it work.
Yeah,
you know?
When I'm walking around, let's say Target or Walmart, or I'm at the mall, and I don't know why the thought comes to my mind is like, what if I get attacked? Right, what am I going to do? Am I going to fight? Am I going to sit there? Am I going to run? Am I going to square up? Am I going to take it to the ground? All these thoughts go through my mind, never having trained before, right? Yeah. But just watching UFC or just watching videos online, the thought comes to my head like, what would I do if I get attacked? What is the go-to move for the average person to defend themselves in a street fight if somebody just absolutely wants to fight you and there's nowhere to go?
I mean, like if there's no choice and you have to fight, I mean, I would say just keep your heads up and throw your punches down straight. Don't loop them and get all crazy and stuff.
But don't take it to the ground?
If you don't know how to fight in the ground, I wouldn't say take it to the ground.
Okay.
But if somebody who has a little bit of training in jiu-jitsu fights somebody who has never trained jiu-jitsu at all, if you take them to the ground, they're not going to know what to do at all. And you're going to be able to control them. Just by knowing how to like hold somebody in side control, let's say. You can tire somebody out because they're going to be like trying to get up like by any means, you know. They're not going to know the proper way to get up. And if you just hold them there, they're going to tire out, you know. And that's why I feel like jiu-jitsu is a real good sport for everybody to learn, you know.
Even if you're not going to fight professionally.
Yeah, even if you're not going to fight.
Just as
like a hobby.
Yeah,
and
something
stuff.
to know.
Yeah, because, man, like somebody who's been training jiu-jitsu, like let's say for a year, if you do have that confrontation with somebody out in the street, like you know where to place your hands, you know where to place your knee, you know how to control somebody, how to move your weight and stuff, and they don't. So I give them probably like a minute and a half of them like trying to like work their way out, and then they're gonna be tired after that.
I mean, I guess the confidence too of having jiu-jitsu training, whether you use it in the real world or not, just having that training under your belt helps you be a little bit more confident to, if something does happen, at least I can defend myself and not just stand there helplessly, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I always tell everybody who will ask me, like, oh, how'd you get into it and stuff? I'll be like, man, like, you don't have to get into it and be a fighter. Right. You know what I mean? Get into it and learn how to defend yourself, you know, especially now. You just don't know nowadays, especially like how everything is turning out to be. It's good to know like how to defend yourself, especially in the ground, because mostly all the fights will end up in the ground at one point. You know? And if that once it gets to the ground, if you know what you're doing, well, I mean, it's over. It's over pretty much. Yeah.
I know we talked about this. You started 0-2, and then when you fought Peña in your third fight, was that like your confidence of, you know what, I can do this, man? Like you got your first win, or was it because you started training with Diego?
It did motivate me to continue, and it did boost my confidence up like a lot. You know, I never thought I could do that to somebody. You know, and but training with Diego and training with Coach Rick, I felt like that had a big, like a big part of it. You know, how being able to do that and it just motivated me to continue.
Yeah. Do you watch your old fights?
I haven't seen like an old fight of mine in a while, but sometimes I mean, damn, it's been a minute, but like I haven't seen the Juan Piña one in like years.
A long time.
But I know it's up there on YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Even the one with my first fight with Agapito, that one's up there.
Yeah. Do you think you've come a long way since watching how you fought those fights?
Oh yeah, for like I've come a long way.
What's different? Like is it confidence or?
My confidence, mixing it up better, not just sticking to like one art, you know, like going for takedowns, the wrestling aspect of it, and the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
My kicks, that's one thing that I have been focusing a lot right now.
Okay.
Is kicking. So my Muay Thai with I've been training a lot with Frank Trevino.
Okay.
And Abram Torres. If this Victor fought that Victor, this Victor would
destroy him.
Yeah, would destroy that Victor from back there.
You fought Luke Flores very early on. He turned out to be a really good fighter too.
Yeah.
But you fought him early, and that's kind of I'm not gonna say rare, but you guys actually both went far in your fighting careers.
Yeah.
And you fought very early on. Talk about that fight. I mean, that was I thought that was your first fight where it ended in a submission, but you said your second fight was a submission. But
my second fight was submission. Yeah.
Yeah, but Luke Flores ended in an armbar, right? He didn't fully extend it, but I mean, you tapped.
Yeah.
So what's that like fighting somebody like him that good very early on?
Well, shit, I feel like we both kind of like felt the same way towards each other. Because, I mean, me and him are boys now. Like, he's like my brother.
Yeah.
So me and him will talk. Well, we've talked before about our fight, and we've had this conversation. And he would tell me, too, he's like, man, going up to that fight, I was nervous and stuff, like, going up to that fight to fight you. Because I fought one of his teammates.
Okay.
He trained with him and everything. And he would tell me, and I fought him at 170. And he would tell me, the reason why that happened was because my original opponent pulled out the day before the weigh-ins, and his original opponent pulled out also. Like this, it was weird. So
you guys weren't gonna fight each other?
No, we weren't.
You weren't training for him or nothing?
No, he was fighting. He fights at 170, and I fought at 55, and what I still do. And the promoter had called me that night and was like, "Hey, your guy's out. Busto's guys is out. You guys want to fight each other?" He said yes, and I was like, "All right, well, let's do it." So then
you were 155 when you fought him.
I wasn't 155 yet, but I was in a cut to 155. So I was probably like 62, 63,
okay.
you know, and I was getting my stuff ready to cut weight for the morning before heading out to the weigh-ins. And then I told him yes. And then so I didn't have to worry about cutting weight anymore. So I started drinking a little bit of water and stuff, and my weight started going back up. Luke always tells me, like, yeah, well, going into that fight, I was kind of nervous too, going against you, and I was like, well, shit, I was nervous going against you too, because like he was on a tear.
Yeah. So he was 3-0 when you fought him, right? So he hadn't lost.
I think he was 3-0, but he did amateur.
Oh,
the one thing with me,
he had a bunch of fights before that.
Yeah.
You didn't have any amateur fights.
No, I didn't do any amateur
fights. Just jiu-jitsu fights, right?
Just jiu-jitsu tournaments.
But no MMA fights, right? Oh,
and I feel like that's where I stained my record with my first two losses.
Yeah. Those probably could have been amateur fights.
Yeah, those probably could have been amateur, and I would have had a little bit more experience going to the pro. But I mean, it plays out the way it plays out. Yeah. So, but now I tell everybody, like, if you can get some amateurs in, get them in there, you know, because you do need that experience.
The experience,
like being in there and just feeling all the feelings. Like the different emotions that you feel when you're in there.
A real fight rather than just, sparring and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Luke Flores eventually fought Jordan Leavitt, right? The guy you faced
in
the
he fought Jordan Leavitt, yeah.
But that was in the
Contender.
Dana White Contender Series, right? That was his last fight, dude.
That was his last fight.
How come he hasn't fought after that?
I mean, he opened up a school. Okay. He has a school in Mission.
Okay.
And he just decided, like, he's like, I'm done, bro. And there's times I've had a talk with him. We both have talked about this before because I want to see him fight again.
Yeah. And
I know he can make it to the UFC. He's just
so
like,
he was one win away, right? If he beats Levitt, he gets a UFC contract probably, right?
Yeah. So there's been times where we're hanging out and I tell him, hey, what's up? You gonna get another fight in there? You know, like let's do it. And he'll be like, nah, I'm already done. And I get it. You know, he has his own gym now and his gym's doing super good. His school comes over here a lot to Diego's. Okay. And we'll cross train. You know.
Oh, that's cool.
But I mean, he's doing good with his school and stuff. I don't blame him that he doesn't want to fight anymore. I mean, it kind of it's rough, you know, go every day training and putting your body through some shit. You know, like
I'm sure he gets the urge to get in there and fight.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I would like for him to fight one more time, and I've told him. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you already told yourself no, like,
that's it.
Just don't do it. Yeah, just don't do it.